Is HYBE really taking a step that will divide BTS? Rumors are blowing Taehyung and Jungkook are reportedly abandoned in the middle of a big project. ARMY trembled between anger and disbelief. Is there something much darker behind this decision? How could a decision made in HYBE's silent meeting room make the hearts of millions of soldiers around the world tremble? Is this just an extreme promotional strategy, or a real signal that two of BTS's biggest stars, Taehyung and Jungkook, have been sidelined from the limelight? The question now hangs in the air, becoming the main topic on fan forums, live streaming, even late-night conversations full of anger and tears. That night, social media suddenly filled with mysterious uploads. No official statement, no clarification, just a cut of the image that seems to indicate that HYBE's latest big project will run without the presence of two figures who have been a magnet for the spotlight. In the photo, the faces of the other BTS members are clearly visible, but Taehyung and Jungkook are not visible at all. Why? Is this just a coincidence, or was it a message sent to change the direction of BTS's story? ARMY, who usually patiently tried to understand the company's strategy, is now starting to lose control. In various parts of the world, the hashtags #ProtectTaehyung and #HYBEExplain topped Twitter trends. Some are angry, some are disappointed, but the most terrible thing is fear. Fear that the togetherness that has been promised will end sooner than imagined. Because if these two figures are really abandoned, then the meaning of BTS as seven becomes a big question. Several inside sources close to management whispered to Korean media that this was part of a repositioning strategy to adjust the direction of the global project. But is that reason enough? How could they decide to put Taehyung and Jungkook outside the forefront of the promotion when both are irreplaceable international faces? Isn't it every time BTS's name is mentioned abroad, their image is the first to cross the public's mind? What makes this situation even more stifling are the small signals that are starting to emerge from Taehyung and Jungkook themselves. In a short live on the Weverse platform, Jungkook briefly blurted out, "Sometimes we don't even know what's going on," before smiling blandly and closing the broadcast sooner than usual. Taehyung, on the other hand, posted a dark photo with a short caption, "Some things are best left unsaid." Is this a coincidence? Or are they trying to convey something without violating the limits of the contract? For the ARMY, this is no longer just entertainment gossip. This is an emotional crisis. Many remember how BTS's long journey was built on togetherness and the fight against the injustices of the music industry. But now, the company that was supposed to protect them has been accused of taking a stab in the back. Ironically, HYBE opted for total silence, as if to let this speculation burn social media and divide fans. Not a few consider that this is a form of loyalty test to fandom. But is it worth an emotional bond built over more than a decade as a marketing experiment? Isn't it behind the scenes full of glamour? There are human hearts that can be broken by decisions like this? Especially if those affected are two figures who are so loved and have always been the foundation of the spirit of many people. Others believe that this is part of a much larger internal conflict. Some fans claim to have discovered a pattern of HYBE's behavior over the past few months, slowly reducing portions of certain individual promotions, holding back releases that are already ready, to abruptly changing schedules. If this pattern is true, then what happened to Taehyung and Jungkook was not a single incident, but rather part of a long-running agenda. However, amid all this chaos, one thing remains clear. The ARMY will not stand still. They have organized campaigns, sent mass emails, even threatened to boycott the entire HYBE project if there is no official explanation. The question is, how long can HYBE last without giving an answer? And will the answer later heal the wound, or actually increase the depth of the crack that has already occurred? The mystery is still growing, and every hour that passes without clarification only makes this story darker. Are Taehyung and Jungkook really being abandoned? Or are they preparing something that will reverse all conjectures? Only time will reveal the truth. But for now, one thing is certain. ARMY is standing at a crossroads between belief and disappointment, and their choice could change everything. That night, Weverse turns into a battlefield of words. Thousands of comments flow on every post, no matter who uploads. ARMY, which usually responds with heart emojis and sweet support, has now turned into a detective full of suspicion. Every snippet, every punctuation mark, even every pause in the live stream is analyzed as if it were a secret clue. Among the thousands of comments, there was one that got more attention. "We love you guys, but why are you looking so distant these days?" The sentence was liked by Taehyung's official account. That's it. No reply, no clarification. But for fans who've been reading the idol's body language and expressions for years, the like isn't just a casual interaction, it's a signal. However, wouldn't it be strange if the signal actually appeared amid the news that HYBE was preparing a global project without the two of them? What is really going on behind the glass walls of the grand HYBE building? Is this a form of tacit resistance from Taehyung, or is it a veiled request for help? Several former staffers who used to work on BTS's creative team gave unofficial testimonies on an anonymous forum. They say that since the beginning of the year, there have been major changes in the distribution of promotional schedules. Taehyung and Jungkook are said to be getting agenda adjustments that make them rarely at the center of the spotlight. Meanwhile, major projects that were supposed to involve all members began to be separated for reasons that were never explained to the public. In a way, this sounds like an ordinary time management strategy. But why does his tone feel like a slow disappearance? Especially when ARMY began to discover that in the latest promotional materials, Taehyung and Jungkook's position in the group photo was always on the edge, or even cut in the official version uploaded to social media. Is this just an artistic coincidence, or is there a deliberately inserted visual message? Concerns were heightened when a fan account on Twitter shared video footage from HYBE's internal event. In the video, executives are seen talking about plans to expand into the American market. One piece of audio that sounded vague, but clearly triggered the ARMY's anger was when someone said, "We focus on those who can work full-time without a break." The sentence was immediately perceived as a satire against members who are serving the military or have personal agendas outside the promotion schedule. And therein lies the big question that continues to haunt everyone. Will HYBE start forming a new version of BTS for the global market without completely relying on a seven-man formation? If so, where are Taehyung and Jungkook on this huge map? Will they be allowed to drown for a while? The situation is aggravated by the moment that happened at the airport a few days ago. When the other BTS members leave for an event, Taehyung and Jungkook are not seen at all. There is no official schedule explaining their whereabouts, only vague rumors that the two are in separate locations for personal matters. The ARMY that usually gets a quick update this time is left wondering in the dark. In these uncertain times, conspiracy theories thrive. Some believe that this is part of the internal drama that will be revealed in BTS's latest documentary. Some were more cynical, considering this as HYBE's slow move to steer fans to new projects outside of BTS. However, the most frightening is the possibility that this is really not a strategy, but rather an early sign of an inevitable split. Meanwhile, Jungkook finally appeared on a short live broadcast in the middle of the night. He looked exhausted, his eyes wistful, his voice heavy. In the midst of his casual chat, he said quietly, "You will always be in our hearts, even if circumstances change." The sentence made the comment column instantly explode with digital shouts. What does that mean? What circumstances are meant? Please do not leave us. Taehyung, at a different time, posted a photo of the night sky with one short sentence. Not all stars are visible at all times. The sensitive ARMY immediately connected those words with their current situation, that there were times when two of their most beloved stars were deliberately hidden from public view. But the bigger question is, who did it and why? HYBE's silence grew more piercing. As the rumors grew, the company's only move was to release a short statement that didn't answer anything. "We ask for ARMY's understanding. All decisions are made for the good of our artists." A statement too general, too formal, and too cold to calm the storm that is already raging in the hearts of millions and the world of entertainment. The distance between brilliant strategies and fatal mistakes is very thin. A few days later, rumors about HYBE's internal meeting leaked to the public. An anonymous source who claimed to be present at the meeting said that there were serious discussions about market focus and artist segmentation, implicitly talking about the possibility of separating Taehyung and Jungkook's activities from some of the group's projects. According to the source, this decision was taken in order to strengthen the business strategy outside Korea. But is this really a strategy or just an excuse to get rid of them slowly? The situation heated up even more when a staffer who previously worked in HYBE's promotion department posted on an anonymous forum with a sentence that made ARMY tremble. Sometimes, artists don't know they're being kicked out of a project until the last second. The post was deleted in less than an hour, but it was enough to fuel the theory that what happened to Taehyung and Jungkook may not have been a decision they agreed with. The next night, ARMY is surprised by a brief interaction on Jungkook's live stream. When a fan commented, "We'll always be here, don't worry," Jungkook smiled and said, "I want to be there too, but not everything is under my control." That sentence triggered the tears of thousands of live viewers who felt Jungkook was talking about the situation that was happening. Taehyung didn't even make a question mark. She attended a photo shoot of a luxury brand in Paris, but in her short interview, she avoided all questions about the group's activities. Whenever the interviewer tried to touch on the topic of BTS, he simply replied, "I'm focused on what's in front of me right now." That answer sounds neutral, but for fans who've known him for years, there's a rarely heard flat tone from Taehyung. At this point, ARMY's reaction was no longer divided between belief and doubt. The majority agreed that something was wrong. A massive online campaign began. The hashtags #HYBEexplain and #JusticeForTaehyung echoed across social media platforms. In Korea, some fans even ordered a digital billboard in the Gangnam district with an open message for HYBE. "We demand clarity. Don't play with our emotions." Interestingly, in the midst of this wave of anger, HYBE still maintained a tight-lipped attitude. Only one cold statement they released: "All decisions have been carefully considered and involve all relevant parties." But that statement raises even more questions. Does all related parties include Taehyung and Jungkook? Or are they just being told, not invited to a discussion? What makes this drama even more complicated is the audio leak that allegedly came from HYBE's internal meeting. In the 37-second recording, someone is heard saying, "We're going to maximize their market potential individually, even if that means they won't be performing together on some occasions." ARMY, who heard the tape, was split in two. Some believed it proved a hidden agenda, while others thought it was just a solo promotional strategy. But for those who were already suspicious, those words were like the last nail in a chest of secrets that was beginning to open. A TO date. The biggest question has yet to be answered. Are Taehyung and Jungkook really being left behind by HYBE? Or is this all just a series of promotional moves planned to shock the public later? One thing's for sure, the ARMY's trust in HYBE is at rock bottom, and every step this company takes will determine whether they restore that relationship or destroy it forever. That morning, an anonymous article was uploaded by a writer who claimed to have worked at one of the major K-pop agencies. He did not mention HYBE's name directly, but each sentence seemed to be aimed precisely at the situation Taehyung and Jungkook were facing. In his writing, he revealed that sometimes the decision to lower an artist's exposure doesn't always stem from their internal problems, but from a cold market calculation, where numbers and trends are considered more important than an emotional connection with fans. The sentence immediately became the subject of heated discussion on the ARMY forum. Many interpreted it as a sign that HYBE may be trying to separate Taehyung and Jungkook from certain projects in order to direct the spotlight on other units or artists they are developing. However, there are those who judge this as a strategy game so that both can make a big surprise later on. What makes the atmosphere even more stressful is the appearance of photos taken secretly by an airport staff. In the photo, Jungkook is seen walking briskly with his head down, wearing a black mask and a thick hoodie, while a HYBE staff member walks behind him. There is no sign of Taehyung with him, although the two usually travel frequently in close proximity if there is an overseas schedule. Speculation immediately spread. Were they deliberately separated, or was there something that made the two no longer travel together? Meanwhile, at a prestigious music event broadcast live, The seats normally occupied by Taehyung and Jungkook in the VIP row look empty. The camera had to highlight the row of seats several times, as if deliberately showing that something was missing. For the casual viewer, this might not mean anything, but for the ARMY who are already used to observing the slightest detail, this was a signal too obvious to ignore. Hours after the event, Taehyung posted on his Instagram story a photo of a black piano in a dark room with the caption, "A melody is only beautiful when played together." Not long after,